Hey, what's up? Today I'm going to be reviewing the F85 X5M. I've owned this car for a couple years now, and I'm going to tell you some of the issues with it and some of the other things that I really like about it.
0, 1. Let's get started.
So like I said, I've owned this car for a couple years now. There's some things I really love about it, and there's other things that I really hate about it. We'll start with the good first. The car is unassumingly fast. It runs similar quarter-mile times to my C6 Corvette, which is an LS3 model with the Z51 package. It's comfortable. I love the seats. I love the interior. If you get the upgraded sound system, which is the Bang & Olufsen, it sounds really good to me. It's practical. It handles like a sports car. Now we're gonna have to talk about the downsides though. First, depreciation. Brand new, this car was spec'd out at about $119,000. I've bought it for a fraction of that, and it's depreciated at another probably $15,000 in the last couple years that I've owned it. And they just continue to drop. Now you're probably thinking now they're at a good deal, but let me read off the rest of the list before you decide that. So maintenance is outrageous. The fuel mileage is atrocious. It consumes oil, and no, there's not an issue. Like most M cars, these just consume oil. It eats tires. It goes through quite a bit of these. These tires are fairly large. They're 285s on the front, and I believe 325s on the rear. They're about $500 a piece, so you can do the math. For a set, it's $2,000, and they don't last that long. You're probably going to get about, I would say, maybe 20,000 miles or so on them. Let's just be optimistic and say 30,000 miles. I mean, still, that's quite an expense. Now, so many things have gone wrong with this vehicle that I actually had to make a list just to remember them all. So I'm about to go through them now. The intake pipes are plastic. They become brittle over time, and they end up breaking. I actually have a video of me replacing those. I think those cost me about $400 to replace them myself. This has active suspension, and over time the shocks fail. They start leaking the fluid. In fact, when I bought this car, it only had 50,000 miles on it, and they were already leaking. They cost about $4,000 for the dealership to replace them on each corner. So do the math again, and you're looking at about $16,000 or so to have the suspension replaced. Most people go with KW coilovers to just avoid some of that issue. It's quite the expense. It's about $4,000. You're going to lose your active suspension. And the one thing you can't get rid of is the airbags in the back that do also fail over time. So if you ever come outside one morning and your rear looks like one of those stupid Carolina squats, then you know your airbags are going out. You need to get those replaced. Other things on the list. The front drive shafts apparently are weak, and if you don't change them preventatively, they can end up exploding and causing a ton of damage to like the transmission and stuff. Those are, I think, about $1,000, maybe $1,200 to replace. The front diff fails. This has actually happened to me. That is a $6,000 fix, and that is from an independent shop. They had this other issue where they have this weird ticking noise in the front. It turns out there was a manufacturer defect, from my understanding, and the fix for it was for BMW to release these little 1mm shims. They go on the back of the rotor, and it stops the ticking, but they're about $120 a piece. Other points of failures are the transfer case. At an independent shop, transmission fluid and transfer case fluid, that's going to be about a $1,600 service. BMW claims the transmission fluid is lifetime, but ZF, who makes the transmission, claims they should be serviced every 60,000 miles, I believe. So that's all the stuff that I had written down. I mean, and the list goes on. So as much as I do love this car, I would probably only recommend one if you're really looking for a project, because it's going to at some point become a bit of a money pit.